Oh Lord. Oh Lord, that just sounds like a threat.
We just look like the worst criminals, like the dumbest criminals.
Speaking of dumb criminals, it's the Parental Advisory Podcast, y'all. Yes, y'all. This time it's a twofer. What do you call it? We're going to do a little short cast for y'all. We didn't want to leave y'all out with anything for the week, so
we might do 45 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we're going to keep this one relatively short.
In New York with everybody. They're visiting
Devimon. Shout out to Devimon and
I saw a picture there. Who I just didn't know who was that. See, I get nervous when I say it, but that white girl. Like, I hate saying races now. It's just
how's that?
you gotta be careful.
Girl? Which one?
It was a picture of Devin, Fallon, Natalie, Wilmo, Natalie's. I forgot Natalie's boyfriend's name. Is it
Rico?
Rico. And there was this other white girl. I just never seen her. Maybe it's a friend of theirs that lives over there.
That's
I've always. Oh, and
that's Maggie
and Thomas.
That's Maggie, Thomas's girlfriend.
Oh, that's okay. I never met her, so I didn't know. But every time,
who's that white girl?
Because I was like, I've always seen the group picture. The group picture.
All right, but before we get into that, anyways, yeah. Sorry, I was rudely interrupted, people. But I'm that Chico J Serve, and you can find me at jserve954 on all social media, jserve TV on YouTube, brolife.net for all my music. And as you've already heard, because he's already just jumped in the middle of intros, I got
Soul. Sorry, I cut you off. Of LSO, LSO 463 and LSO YT, and my Twitch is now just LSO.
LSO. Okay, cool.
I just didn't. I was like,
no,
why put it YT if it's Twitch?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, we're in the middle of fucking World Cup fever right now.
Which Uruguay's already up 1-0.
1-0. Go Uruguay on Portugal. Yo,
Argentina
my man
got put out 4-3.
Yeah, so now where are we at? Semis now?
No, these are the round of 16. This is the first stage of the...
We're still in stage 1? Okay.
Well, no, stage 1's gone. Group stages is done.
Oh, okay.
Group stages ended Thursday.
So now, okay, so this is 16. So we're in technically stage 2 of the tournament?
Round of 16.
Okay.
Then it goes to the quarters, then semis, and then the
True.
final.
So who do you, everybody's like saying Belgium, it's Belgium's year.
I don't really know who. It's been a really crazy World Cup, man. Teams that you think would be, that are just minnows, are just like I saw.
Minnows. Look at this man with the comparison.
Well, that's what they would call, little countries.
Yes.
It came out. I learned that
what
term.
the fuck was that? My nigga just fucking like.
Sometimes they just drop.
Like helicopter kicked this nigga, yo. Like he fucking jumped on. Look. Fucking. Like what the fuck?
Look at Suarez. He already went for his head. Look at it. He grabbed his head and even touched his head. He didn't even touch his head.
Oh, yeah, of course. He made contact with his head.
What?
Oh, look at that motherfucker.
Suarez is
dude.
good at that. Suarez is legendary for that shit. There's divers that you don't like, and then there's some legendary divers that you're like.
I keep forgetting that they're holding this World Cup in Russia this year.
It hasn't been very
the
problematic.
The most expensive World Cup.
You think that is? Wait until Qatar. Man, Qatar. First of all, Qatar's world. I need to talk about Qatar's World Cup because it's just fundamentally.
What, 2022?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. All the stadiums are going to be enclosed. They're not going to be open stadiums like traditional World Cups. Because when it gets hot over there, it's 110 degrees. No one can play soccer in that.
Nobody can.
And then when it gets cold, it gets as cold as 20 degrees. No one's gonna play soccer in that. They have to play in an enclosed stadium with AC.
Yeah.
So they're making all brand new stadiums.
They're building brand new stadiums,
bro. Qatar is making these freaking stadiums. It's gonna be the show of the century. That World Cup.
Well, so far this one they're saying is gonna be the new.
This World Cup has been very good.
$50 billion. Man,
that's nothing compared to what Qatar's doing. Qatar is probably going to end up selling like billions of dollars by the end of it. It's been a really good World Cup. Fucking Germany got put out. Germany was at the bottom of the table.
Who was it that Korea knocked out?
Germany.
Korean
Republic, yeah, they knocked out Germany.
That means that's right. So Korea now is there's South Korea and then there's Korea.
I don't know how that works. So they have South Korea, and they have North Korea too. North Korea was in the 2004 World Cup.
True.
I believe so. I'm not sure. I'm not really positive on that one. I know they were in like a World Cup, but right after the 2000.
True.
I just don't remember. It might have been 2000 or it might have been 2004. I'm not sure. Ooh. But yeah. So it's South Korea and then it's Korean Republic. I'm not sure how it works out, but
So who's been the surprise so far? Who's been like the biggest upset?
probably Sweden. Because Sweden, remember, okay, look at the table Sweden's in. Sweden was in the same table of Mexico, Germany, and the Korean Republic. Mexico and Germany already, you would think they're going to get in. Mm-hmm. Including Germany being the World Cup champions of last. Mm-hmm. Germany's at the bottom of the table.
Right, they're out.
Korean is third, Mexico is second, and Sweden is first. And that's without their greatest striker of all time, which is Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic is not. For whatever reason, I know he's not injured. I don't know why. They just didn't call him. They're just like, we're not gonna call you up to the squad.
Huh.
And they're still number one in their group.
What about Belgium?
Belgium's number one. They beat England in the last group match. But England's through. Belgium and England got through. Because they played them. Sorry, they played last each other, but they had already won 2 games each.
True.
So they were like, it's the two top playing each other. So whoever wins and loses, they're still getting in.
Like, yeah, I hear it's actually been viewership wise. I hear that it's been a very, very profitable viewership.
Oh yeah, man! From what really set it off was the first matches. I mean, the Russia versus Saudi Arabia was crazy. It was 5-1, and then the fucking Portugal Spain game, which is the second game, is probably it's still the best one right now. It went 3-3, and freaking Ronaldo scores 3 goals.
Cristiano was the one that scored all 3?
Yeah, he freaking scored the tying goal in the 88th minute to bring it 3-3. So, that was a handball. It wasn't intentional though. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really fucking good World Cup. Peru got knocked out, but I'm not sad. Peru played. Mm-hmm. Statistically, Peru, I heard, was number 2 and 3 when it came in defense because they only got scored twice in the whole World Cup. It's just they could not find the goal. They had so many chances. I think they were 3 or 4th in chances. It's funny because
I remember that day. You're like, "Fuck you, sir." I'm like, well, why? What happened?
Funny because
Peru lost. I'm like, I didn't do that. They did that because
when they played Denmark, they thrashed Denmark. It's just that the one mistake they did against Denmark, they scored, and then the one mistake they did against France, they scored. But then they throughout the whole game they dominated, which people were really surprised that Peru did well. Now they're hopefully it goes through in the next 4 years and they keep it up and they can make it back to the next World Cup.
Yeah, hopefully maybe my boys in Ecuador might be able to round me up at least I just want them to be on the tournament.
It's just hard to qualify into that.
I know, it's a 4-year endeavor.
It's only 3 teams out of that whole South America that make it out. But
usually.
But think about it, South America is probably one of the best continents when it comes to soccer. I mean, you have Brazil and Argentina. Some of the people who have the greatest talent.
Yeah, the most championships too.
Brazil does. But then you got like Uruguay, who's always been top. You know,
right? They how many times has Brazil won it?
5.
5, right?
5. And I think
Germany's won it. What, 3?
3, yeah, something like that. I think Germany's number 2. And then Uruguay's won, I think, 1 or 2. Uruguay won the very first World Cup.
Oh, true.
They beat Brazil in Brazil.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so bad that Brazil, at that time, nobody thought Uruguay would ever win. And they had printed the papers as Brazil winning the World Cup the day before.
Holy shit.
And then they lost.
Holy fuck.
And they lost. It was a shock. It was a super shock. I've seen documentaries on that shit, and it's just like...
What year was the first World Cup?
I have fucking no idea.
Look it up.
I'm not going to look it up right now. Not when the game's going on.
Hey, fucking look it up. What the fuck are you doing?
Listen.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's the World Cup. You don't ever change the channel when a...
You did before.
by accident. I didn't... I
don't
looked
by
back, I'm
accident.
like...
You were looking... Just look it up real quick.
No. Kidding me?
Grab your phone and look it up.
My phone's in the room. You have your phone. Look it up.
You're the fucking worst.
I don't have
You're
the
the
phone.
laziest
I don't have my phone.
motherfucker ever. You're the laziest son of a bitch ever. Know that.
I love how every time they fall, they are like asking for a yellow card.
First World Cup. So,
according to Wikipedia, the 1930 FIFA World Cup was the inaugural FIFA World Cup, the world championship for men's National Association football teams.
My wife's getting mad.
Hello. Yeah?
So, yeah, like, so 1930 for the first World Cup, and
I remember seeing documentaries about the World Cup when Germany was what's it called? When they went into World Cup, but that's when Hitler was somewhat in power at that time.
Uh-huh.
And it was like a really, like, they didn't know how it was going to work because, you know, I mean, there was a lot of drama when it came to the African teams going to Germany because it was in Germany.
Oh, true.
You know, and I remember seeing documentaries where they're like, you know, they're in the stadium and then you see the Nazi flag waving with like the other flags and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that happened.
Oh, after the war, well, there was a point in time that there was one World Cup where they told Germany they couldn't participate, and then when it ended, the whole war, it was West Germany. That's what they named it to go into the World Cup. It was a different name.
I remember watching once an episode of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel on HBO, and they were talking about how, and we're talking years ago. I want to say about 3-4 years ago, maybe, of like in England, you got your soccer hooligans, right?
Right.
And but the thing is that now they were starting to become white supremacist groups coming into the stadiums. And there's even footage there of people holding a Nazi flag.
That's been happening in Russia a lot.
In stadiums during soccer matches. When black players, doesn't matter for which team, even England's, even British teams, it's,
God,
you know, they start making monkey noises at black players. They start throwing bananas.
There was a game between Barcelona and Real Madrid, a Clásico, recently, like 5 years ago. Dani Alves, who's Brazilian, but he's predominantly more dark skin. You know what I mean? You would think he'd be. At first glance, you'd think he's probably Dominicano or like, you know, Brazilian, obviously, but much darker skin. Mm-hmm. And there was a corner kick that he was attempting, and as he's setting up the ball, somebody threw a banana. And it landed right there, like next to the ball. And this savage Dani Alves picks up the banana, rips it apart, eats it, and then kicks it. It was the greatest thing. It was like he's telling us, like, throw a banana. I don't give a fuck. But I mean, it's happening. And what's up?
Oh, you keep moving the cradle here. Kick it.
Oh, sorry. In Russia, it's happening a lot. I've recently, I think a year ago, there was a big thing. What happened was there was a player for one of the Russian club teams. It was the Russian league, and every time he'd score a goal, he'd do the Nazi salute. and he actually had a swastika tattooed on his arm, and he would every time he'd score, he would do the Nazi and the fans would do it as well for that team. Well, certain sections of the fans. So Russia's having a big issue with that right now in their league because they have a lot of racism. Like,
it's illegal to be gay in Russia.
Yeah,
like it's illegal.
Which a lot of people were afraid of this World Cup because
now
people were afraid of the Winter Olympics. Winter Olympics was in Russia too, right?
Do you know what the technically how they wrote the law over there against the anti-gay law?
No.
You can be punished and jailed for promoting same-sex ideas, for promoting, okay, which means just by if you're a man. If you're a gay man in Russia and you happen to speak in an effeminate voice, that could be considered promoting. It's just something as simple as that. Or the way you dress, it could be considered promoting. Or the fact that you hold hands with your girlfriend as a woman, that's promoting to the youth.
I know,
because you're trying to protect the kids.
I know in Qatar they do that. Like you can't show really affection in public.
Yeah,
because it can be considered you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
Like if you kiss somebody in public, you're like fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories of that shit.
Like those countries where it's just so fucking repressed.
I mean, but it's Russia, man. I mean, they what's the country? The little sovereign country they fucking took over Crimea? Is that it?
Yeah, Crimea.
I mean, but look what kind of Russia is. Russia's like the fucking anybody who's ever tried to like take office has died. Like Putin just sends his assassin and just like
anybody that speaks out against him dies.
Is he running for president?
Like it's
Saint Thomas.
like
da.
Saint Nicholas.
No, we're just going to silence him.
Saint Boris.
And by me silence, we're going to kill him. Saint Boris and Saint Yvonne. There are two Yvonnes in Russia. The one that kills and the one that kills silently.
Where's that from?
I forgot what fucking movie. I think it's Inglourious Bastards.
No.
I forgot what it was. It was a parody movie. That's what he said. It was like, there's two types of Yvonnes in Russia. One that kills silently, one that kills and one that kills silently. I always cracked up when I heard that shit.
It's crazy.
Duh.
But it's been a very exciting World Cup so far, indeed. Matches have been pretty good overall.
Weather hasn't been too bad. I mean, it has been somewhat hot some of the days. But I mean, the players have played through it. So, but it's been a very
and this is an open stadium.
Yeah, they're mostly all open. They're all open stadiums. Biggest surprise to me was Iran. Even though Iran got put out, they played super good, man.
Yeah,
yeah, man. The one against Spain, they freaking they took Spain to I think it was 2-2. Like, it's crazy, man. Freaking Iran. It reminds me of I forgot which one it was. I think it was 2000 World Cup when they had in the United States. Little old Bulgaria eliminated Germany. It's like those really small countries that freaking
out of nowhere.
Like their goalkeeper is also a banker. Like he's like, so our striker's also he's the third grade teacher at our school. Like
yeah, like in Iceland, I saw a picture on Reddit of the head coach from the Icelandic team. 2 days after they got eliminated
or something.
After he got eliminated from the World Cup, you see him at a on like it looks like I guess like a Saturday or something, being the referee for a little league soccer game.
Yeah. No, one of their players is like a dentist.
Yeah.
Like that's what he does. Like
Yeah.
they're not like they don't play for club teams.
Right.
It's just
Citizens.
They're just citizens, and they play for the international squad.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
It's
That's so old school. That's from like when
It's
back
so
in the
different
day.
smaller countries.
That's from like back in the day, like when you would hear of like baseball players, like on the off season, they would
Like,
work
if
at
you're
like furniture
If you're an
stores.
international player for the United States, you're either playing for a club team or you're some like well-known, well-figure throughout the United States.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing with basketball. Like some of those people that play for their countries are just regular guys that just happen to be good enough to play for the international basketball club. But then they go up against like the United States and it's LeBron James, and it's like, well, he's not an ordinary citizen, sir. Like, it's like me. I'm a fucking.
I have a
work
poster of him on my wall.
Yeah, like he's like it's like
I
the Turkish team, and it's a guy. He's like, oh yeah. When I go back home, you know, I'm a taxi driver. It's
like
or,
you're
I have a farm, and then you're going against the United States, so I'm playing against Kobe Bryant, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, I remember the last Olympics where Kobe played. Like, I think it was like Lithuania or some crazy shit like that, like some team like that. They played him, and obviously they played the U.S. and obviously they lost.
those smaller, the people who don't like really play and they're like regular people always give them the trouble, man.
Well, regardless of the fact, anyways, we won. So, USA.
I remember that they gave them a hard
I remember
game.
the first thing they did, all the players there did was a bunch of them took the shoe off that they just had on them. Some of them had Kobe's or LeBron's or Jordan's on, or some sort of Nike shoe, and then immediately after like being destroyed by like 30 points,
They try to get it signed.
they're gonna like. Hey,
They do the same thing with Messi. They do the same thing with they used to do that with Ronaldinho all the time, man. Any national game he had, unless it was like an elite like France or England, something like that. If it was like Nigeria, Turkey,
Yeah.
they'd be like take off. I remember the Nigerian. I don't know if it was a Nigerian team. It was an African team. I remember they freaking removed every piece of clothing except his boxers and his like his shorts underneath his shorts. But like the actual national kit, like with the Brazil logo on his shorts, his shirt, he took it all off. The socks, they took the socks. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't mean they took it. Like it's when a player asks for a shirt, it's something humbling because
right.
But Ronaldinho was so great at that time. They asked for literally anything on his body. Like, I'll take your socks, bro. I don't even need the fucking jersey. Give me your socks. Give me your little band. Like they wanted anything just to commemorate the fact that they played against Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that you like to get to that level where motherfucker, if they can't get your jersey, but they can get your little like wristband. That's enough.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. That's greatness right there.
Because usually they'll just ask for your jersey, and they'll be like, and if somebody sees they took your jersey, be like, all right, fuck it.
Can I get your shorts?
I'll take your shorts. I'll take your underwear. Fuck anything. All right. You got a little pubic hair you want to get rid of? I'll take that.
Did you say pee hair?
Pubic hair.
Oh, it's like what
underarm hair? I don't know.
Oh, jeez. That's crazy, man.
Damn.
Oh, that was a nice little split. That was a nice little split. Get the fuck out, baby. This party don't stop just because you overextended yourself, literally.
But it's been a very good World Cup.
Yeah, man.
I always say that they need to have one for basketball, but they do. It's called the FIBA World Championship.
Yeah.
But it's
not the same because the rules change a little bit too. Like you can
goaltend,
right?
It's not that you can goaltend. You
can tip the ball after.
You can remove it off the rim.
Yeah.
You can't technically goaltend, but you can remove it off the rim, and if it's touching the backboard, you can still block it.
Yeah. Even if it touches the rim, like you can.
It has to. Okay, when I mean touching the rim, it's like if it's hanging off the rim and it may or may not go in. You can either tip it in or tip it out.
Okay.
In NBA, you can't. You can't.
Right.
Once it's touching the rim, you can't touch it
at all. Yeah,
and
I know.
Once it hits the backboard, you can't touch it. It's already in play of a score, so you have to let it determine. But in the international game, it's a little bit different.
Like,
plus they don't have enough. Well, the thing is, there's not enough countries playing basketball yet. but it's getting there slowly.
Well, I think it's the second most popular sport globally.
There's probably some fucking I think it's with any sport. There's probably some player that we don't even know of yet because they just haven't gotten. Because in soccer, it's like you see these like teams, like let's say a team from Iceland. Like what if now seeing Iceland, you're like, wow, they actually really have some good players. Let's like club teams will now be like, let's go to Iceland and see what they got. We haven't reached that with basketball. Basketball hasn't opened up the door fully for that. Like where it's like if they truly want it to be like grand, they have to like these other leagues have to promote more. The thing in soccer, you have multiple renowned leagues, and I think basketball as a governing body needs to do a Champions League the same way soccer does. Because that will elevate these leagues to another level. Because think about it, Champions League is very good for soccer because it basically brings any champion of any league, if it's considered within the Europa, to participate in that. So if you're the champion of the English Premier League...
What's the South American league? Is it?
The South American... there's not really a South American league. You have your Mexican, you have Peruvian leagues, but those are like... When you think of a league like Spain...
Like Brazil? Brazil
has a league. Brazil has its own league. Every country has its own league. Same way that NBA is the United States' league.
Right.
And then you have the Bundesliga, that's basketball in Germany. Or La Liga of basketball in Spain. Mm-hmm. And they don't have one in the English Premier League yet. I don't think so. That would be fucking dope. But they haven't opened the door fully. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if I were to name the NBA of soccer, it would to me be the English Premier League. Mm-hmm. Because there's never a clear-cut winner, and it's every team from top to bottom can give you trouble at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? In La Liga, it's only 3 teams. It's fucking Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico. Once every couple years, they come into play. You know what I'm saying? Or Valencia, and then you go to the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga literally is being operated by the freaking Bayern Munich and Dortmund. Those two have been battling for 1 and 2 for like 7 years now. In Italy, they have what?
Moving the table.
Sorry. In Italy, they have what's it called? God, it's on the tip of my tongue. They got AC Milan, but the real one is Juventus. Juventus has been killing Italy for I don't even know how many years now. Like, they've probably won the Italian league. I remember one time they won the Italian league in record points. Like, they had gained enough points, and they still had, like, 5 matches left. It made no fucking sense. Like, the fact that in the English Premier League, it literally comes down to, like, 4 teams at the end. But it's like, think about it. You know more teams from the English Premier League. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, City, Everton, Chelsea. Those are big-name squads. And that's all in one league. So that would be the NBA league. But you see the difference between the NBA and the English Premier League team is that because it's the English Premier League, it doesn't mean that it's just all English players.
Right.
The majority of their stars are not even from fucking England. Mm-hmm. Manchester United has had Ibrahimovic, Paul Pogba, who's from France. They had Alexis Sanchez, who's from Chile. You go to Arsenal, it's people from France, people from Germany. It's not just England. So right. But that's the difference between the NBA. The NBA is majority Americans.
Actually, no.
The majority still is Americans.
But not by much anymore. It's actually there was coincidentally another real sports story about that where European players actually are now starting to outnumber the black players.
But there's the star power is still towards is to the Americans.
For the most part. I mean you got like Kawhi, he's French.
Right.
You got
Kristaps Porzingis and shit. But the thing is those are like compared to and the other big thing is that there's more players and there's more teams.
Yeah, that is true.
And a lot of the thing is they have subdivisions where it's like you have the Premier League and then you have the Championship League, which is what would the D League be considered, the NBA D League. But no one gives a shit about the D League.
Right.
And in England, they give a fuck about the champions. The Championship League, they might give us fuck more about that than as much as the English Premier League, because they should do that where teams from the D League, if you're the champion of D League, you can get into the NBA, and then a team from the NBA has to go to the D League. That would drastically change the NBA forever.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be like, man, we got to make sure not only we can't just suck now. We can't suck.
Well, see,
because
the thing
if we
is,
suck, we get regulated.
Well, not even so much that, but then you would have to do away with like a worst team gets first pick, and shit. Well, no, actually, the picks the first picks are done by lottery, right? In the NBA, right?
I mean, you can still incorporate the draft, but that would be a more incentive for now these D leagues to get in, because if a D league gets in, think about it. D leagues get teams that players that suck. What if one D League team gets in and they're good enough to get
to what, win the championship?
No, not win the championship. I don't think that would happen in like that quickly. It would have to be a D League that through getting in and staying in slowly becomes better. But it would just take time. Like Leicester City went from
Leicester.
You call it Leicester. To me, it's Leicester. I say it the way English people say it.
No, it's the English people call it Leicester.
Where have you heard that?
Look it up, sir.
Listen, the FIFA guys call it Leicester.
Right, because that's the wrong way to say it.
Well,
that's how it's written. It's pronounced Leicester.
Whatever.
Yes, and The Great Escape and all that. We're all familiar.
Yeah, so like, and they went through finding players, and it's just, like they have to be open. The thing with the NBA, it's like they're not open to wanting to give a no name a chance. You know what I mean? Like if they go to Ireland and they find a basketball player and he's like really good, they might not want to give that chance, because they'll be like, well, we can probably find a veteran NBA player in America. But it's like, but why? If just give like, see, in soccer, it's like they'll find, like, these teams will find a player and they'll give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because in soccer, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? You could find somebody. You can find somebody right now. Let's say in Iraq, where they don't even have a soccer team. That's great right now. And then you find some kid who's 18 years old and he's playing for some school or some shit, and then he might just be good enough to play nationally or with clubs. So you just try him out. They don't really take chances like that. One, because I don't think they have the leeway to in the NBA, because there's a salary cap. There should to make this work, they'd have to get rid of salary caps. That have to go. Because friggin' Manchester United and Real Madrid are like, if they were to be in the salary cap of the NBA, they would have fucking gone over that shit with the first three players. Like Ronaldo's shit probably would have broke that shit in half. Like, imagine a salary cap's like, you can only spend $200 million. So my team is just consisting of Ronaldo right now. Because that's what his contract's worth.
That's crazy. Your entire salary.
And if I want Bale, I'm like, well, I can't even have Bale because he's like more than my salary cap. He's like a $300 million player. In soccer it's different. Like, these people like Kobe gets a 24 million, and
how old is
Ronaldo will be like, well, that's my
how
my
old
month.
Is he?
Who, Ronaldo?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's not 30 yet. He's probably gonna be 30 soon. He's probably in his late 20s by now. He's around the same age as Messi, I think. And Messi is like mid and late 20s. Oh, they scored in the 7th minute. Scored early. Ooh.
He's 33. What the hell are you talking about?
Ronaldo's 33, really?
Yeah.
How old is Messi then? Messi must be younger. Messi must be way younger. I thought they were... Messi might be 30 then.
31.
Messi's 31 now?
Just turned 31.
Yeah, so this would probably... This and the next World Cup is probably going to be Ronaldo's last. I think this is Messi's last World Cup. I don't think he wants to do it anymore. Which I feel bad for, because he's literally won everything that you can individually when it comes to club. Literally the only thing he's missing right now is any type of gold nationally. He doesn't have anything. At least Ronaldo has... I forgot what it's called. What tournament it was, but he's won a fucking tournament for Portugal. I forgot what it was. Fuck. It's like the same thing like Copa America.
True.
It's just the European version.
True.
But Messi hasn't. Messi now has been to one final of the World Cup and didn't win, and then one final to Copa America and didn't win. I wouldn't want to play either. I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah. And well, with that that's going to be this week's episode of the Parental Advisory Podcast. We're going to just keep it light for y'all today. You know, like we were talking about earlier, our homie Wilmo, is not in today with us. He's up in New York visiting the other homie Devimon and whatnot. So shouts out to them. But as always,
we'll have both on.
Yeah, sure.
Devimon will be.
As always, you can follow Wilmo at Wilmo_Chiquito, ChiQuito. And you can follow me at JServe954 on all social media, and JServe TV on YouTube, and BroLife.net for all my music. Be sure to search BroLife or JServe on all of your major streaming platforms as well for the music. And you can always find my man, my partner in crime.
You can find me at LSO463 for my social media, and LSOYT for my YouTube, and LSO for my Twitch.
Yeah, so, one last thing, little quick announcement. Be on the lookout sometime in the near future here. Chico here going to drop some new heat for y'all. So I'm going to drop a track soon. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for that, y'all. All right, man. As always, you can follow us on online on all social media. Parental Advisory Cast on Facebook and Instagram. Parental Podcast on Twitter. MPA Podcast on Snapchat. We appreciate everybody that takes out the time and rocks with us and listens and everything like that. I'd love to see the new likes. Thank you to everybody on Facebook that's been liking and commenting and sharing and everything and listening. As always, we love y'all. We love doing this. So thank you very much. On behalf of all of us here at the Parental Advisory Studios, I'd like to say thank you, and we out this bitch, y'all. Peace.